We are just restarting and the Patreon episode because we did try to start recording it, but old Fingers Glasson,
I don't think that's my fault.
who's
I don't.
always the one that when he talks fucks around with cables, just literally doesn't has no awareness that he's doing it, but it'll just be like playing with something, like normally like a power switch or a very important lead. And so we've been going for about 5 minutes recording this episode, and then realised that the camera wasn't plugged in.
I just want to defend myself here.
Yeah.
I haven't had a play around with a cable for at least 12 months. None of your cables, anyway. And I don't know if that was or was not me in this instance. And we're going to talk about scenarios like this on the other episode we recorded for Patreon today, which is about office gripes.
Okay.
I'll take you back to task on that subject later.
The job at hand now
Yes.
is top 5 Prodigy songs.
Yes. Shall we actually just welcome our guest tonight,
Yes.
the wonderful Luke Rogers, who is also our sponsor.
Mm-hmm.
He's often called a finished version of Chris Glasson. Welcome, mate.
Thank you, mate. And thank you for that comparison too.
Yeah. I think I've often said if I met you now, we'd never be friends.
yeah.
But like, I think like,
Yeah.
if I met Luke, I'd be like,
Yeah.
hey man, should we start a successful podcast? You're like a better version of something that just, I don't know what.
The windows in the Whiffin were a little steamed up when I walked in earlier, so I don't know what you guys have been filming before this, but you can catch the first series on Pornhub this start this week.
Yeah. Right, so we're going to do top 5 Prodigy records. Now, I'm quite sure there's probably going to be some crossover.
Yeah, I imagine so.
So, you're our guest, Luke. You can start.
Thank you, mate. Well, I've tried to kind of link my choices to specific memories because I've been a long time fan of the Prodigy since I was in school. So I've got, and I've been lucky enough to see them live a few times as well. So I've gone with tracks that are kind of linked to memories of seeing them or experiencing stuff for the first time. So the first track is actually one of their first tracks, which is kind of my proper introduction to the Prodigy, which is Everybody in the Place. Mm-hmm.
Superb choice.
Yeah, I just loved it. I mean, it was very early Prodigy, but the thing that kind of pulled me in at the time was the video. Mm-hmm. It wasn't, big, slick kind of thing, but it just had so much energy to it.
Yeah.
And I think it was the one thing as well, so going back to when I was at school, there was a bit of dancing in there from Leroy. It was a specific moment of the video, and I was like, I want to do that.
Was it the cross-legged thing?
It was exactly that. And it was the one thing, like, I'd never been, like, junior school and stuff, I've never been, like, big into break dancing or anything like that. But seeing that was like, I want to do that. And spent time practicing just that move,
Could you do it?
Yeah, I could. Yeah, we couldn't do it now, but back then I could do it, and used to love it. And and I remember seeing them live as well. For around the time of that first album, being in school.
What are we talking? Like 92?
I think it was 92. Yeah.
Shit, man.
Yeah, and being in like the last year of senior school, and I was saying this to Stu earlier, sort of in a really shitty club in Gillingham called Excalibur.
Such a good name.
and we all kind of, it was one of those ones where as a group of friends, like, because we were all still in school, and it was like, we're not supposed to be going to clubs and stuff, and it was one of those like, I'm staying at his house, and he's staying at my house, and we all lied to our parents and stuff, and got on our bikes and somehow managed to get into the club. I think it was that.
You didn't show up with your bikes.
No, it didn't sort of rolling up. But no, we all got in, and we had the time of our lives, and it was the most amazing kind of experience. And then at the end, got back on our bikes and cycled home. Brilliant. But wonderful memory, and that was one of my earliest Prodigy.
Do you know what's
memories.
really weird? Because I was watching a lot of the videos today, and I watched obviously all the earlier ones, and the comments of people talking about raves in the early 90s and that, and not only watching the guys, but actually, like, before they perform, Keith would be dancing in the crowd because they just were ravers, you know, they just fucking loved it that much. So wow.
Well, he wasn't, was he? So to start with, like, he'd been travelling in India
Who's his Keith?
Keith Flint, yeah. And he'd come back and his friends were all going, have you been to the barn? And the barn was the venue type hub of Braintree rave culture. And that Keith went to the barn.
Right.
And then that was it. Rave it from
Yeah.
then on inward.
Yeah.
You know, onwards, sorry. And yeah, because I think he'd like, whilst maybe Liam and the others were raving, he was travelling, and he'd come back and like got stuck in, and just on everybody in the place, something about that I think is quite interesting is in the new album, No Tourists. Just quickly, do you think that's meant to be Notorious? Notorious. Do you think that's the kind of
I didn't think of that, mate. I honestly haven't thought of that.
But have you heard the new album?
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard the new album?
Yeah.
So I think it's that perfect hybrid of Prodigy. So it's all the massive hip hop style beats with the big bass drops, but it's got all them kind of wah, 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 like old school rave sounds as well.
Very
And
much,
I think
very
it's just
much.
like theoretically the perfect Prodigy album. You know, it's got all the best bits of of their career spanning work. Yeah. Top tune, everybody in the place.
Yeah, I think that, mate. And some of mine are linked to memories as well, and earliest memories. My number 5 isn't, but number 4 definitely is. Do you want to do one, mate?
No, go
on. So my number 5 is off. Right, so basically, let me tell you what happened to me today. So I got all my other stuff done, and then went shopping, and I thought, right, I'm going to start listening to Prodigy to get myself in the mood, and there was no real plan.
I'm not ignoring you. I'm just checking my list.
Are you filming yourself live? And basically, I went, got in the shops and just put on, and I thought I'm going to do it back to front. So I'm going to start with No Tourists and then just go through them all. And I started getting into it more than I probably realised. So by the time I got home, I'd then gone on to A Day Is My Enemy, and I'd already put it on like the sound system. And then I started dancing, and then I was getting sweaty, and then my neighbour came down and sort of like was like, and she sort of had a go at me, and she was like, "It's a bit early in the day for that, innit, babe?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm really sorry, Sandra, because I'm like a grown man now. I don't sort of like exactly have raves in the house anymore.
The outfit would
belay that." I was like, "I'm really sorry, Sandra. I'm doing a bit of research and I'm playing these songs, so it won't be all afternoon. And plus, what, you want it late at night, do you? Yeah. It's like fucking midday." I didn't say that.
I love the fact it's all her fault.
Yeah. So anyway, I turned it down a little bit, and I think I got to Fat of the Land, and I think, I ain't gonna lie, I think I turned it up again, and she came down again, and again I sort of apologised, but I sort of like, I said, "Oh yeah, just look, if I'm not done in 5 minutes, just wait longer," just as a joke. And she went, "Yeah, all right then, babe." And I went, "Sweet." So I know she came down at jilted, I think, but I didn't answer the door. I just went, "Oh, fuck it." But I know that the second time I answered the door as well, I was sweating. Like, have you seen, Napoleon Dynamite when he's in his room just practicing dancing? I got to the front door and I was sweating, and I think she was, she wondered what the fuck was going on.
That's a beautiful image.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's awful. So she looks like a wasp chewing a bulldog, because she's just not bulldog chewing, or she's got like googly eyes, and she like her makeup is like seizure inducing. Like she paints chevrons on her face.
Big up, Simon, if you're listening.
You get a picture for us for next week.
Oh mate, no, she'll kill me. Yeah. So
what's your song?
I went back to what's that?
What is your song?
Number 5 is Warriors Dance.
Nice.
So there's obviously loads of good tracks off that, but off Invaders Must Die, but including Invaders Must Die and Omen, I fucking really love them. But I just love the sample of that. It was a bit before my time, that track, that house music track, and I can't remember. It's True Faith. I made a note of that as it goes earlier on who did it. If you can remember who it was?
No.
True Faith, and it's called Take Me Away. Of course it was. But I just fucking love how he used that sample and he made it his own, and it's just a wicked roller of a tune. And it's weird because all the others in my top 5 are from probably earlier records. That being because I come to realise that I've listened to Prodigy just so much that the more recent records, it's hard for them to slip in. Like there's some absolute bangers off Notorious and stuff like that. Boom Boom Tap is really fucking good. But yeah, I think that Warriors Dance is probably the one I've listened to the most.
Yeah.
And if I was like a youngster, what I think is really cool about Prodigy, and Pip was saying it's a bit like Green Day, like no matter what generation you are, they're into a different one of their record releases. Do you know what I mean? And I think if I was younger now, if I was 16 now, I think maybe Notorious or The Day Is My Enemy or Invaders Must Die, that might be my favourite record. But I think because I was born in the 90s, I don't know. I'd probably be wearing something proper trendy. Yeah, so that's it, Warriors Dance, and I think I just love the sample, and it's got a wicked music video as well, which is, I don't know if you guys have seen that, and it's all the little cigarette boxes having a sort of like little ramshackle rave in a pub. It's fucking dope. It's really cool, really good bit of animation. So that's it, Warriors Dance, man. I really love it. You, Stu?
3 kilos.
Oh, good choice, yeah.
I was chatting to my mate Ben at the weekend about this and Prodigy, and I'd kind of had my list in mind, and then he mentioned this, and then I played it, and I just thought, this is incredible. Yeah,
it's really good.
And it doesn't necessarily sound like everything else that Prodigy had done. It's got a real good sort of rare groove funk feel to it. It's just got a really good, almost DJ Shadow in places. It's got like just a really nice, obviously everything the Prodigy does got a groove to it, but more of a kind of soul-y groove to it. And I just heard it and I just thought, because I haven't listened to Jilted as an album for a long time, and in regards to the Prodigy, week in, week out, if I'm still DJing at the Brush and that, I'm playing the big hits, which I'm sure we will discuss at some point. But yeah, and I just heard that track and it just sounded so fresh and brilliant, and I was like, that's going in my 5.
No, it is a well produced tune. It's part of that. It's part of the end 3, innit? On Jilted, and there's also that track, a Claustrophobic Sting, and that wigs me out even now. Like the laugh in that, just absolute. It's again a really well produced, great, freaky song with just a dude laughing throughout it. But yeah, it's a banger, and 3 kilos is a great choice, mate. And I think we're going to come back to Jilted, no doubt.
Luke Van Boom.
Yeah. Their Law. It's my number 4. I think for me, it's like when I first heard that is when the sort of the more live guitar sound started to creep in. And that's obviously got a real big kind of live guitar kind of opener to it. But the reason it's made it into my top 5 is because of kind of both what it says in the track at the time, what I was up to, when that came out, and it was a time, and it was a time of like being a teenager, and some of my older friends had cars and stuff, and it would be that kind of like, what are we doing? We're going out, putting up a car somewhere, finding an old playground or a car park or something, boots open, music's playing, and everyone's just dancing in some random space. But it also, it's just got that kind of kick a hole in something kind of anger vibe to it, do you know what I mean? Which I think is like that electro punk kind of thing, it's got a punk feel to it. It's rebel music, and that's what I love about it.
It's Populate Yourself, isn't it, on it as well? Who had been making sample-based electronic crossover music since probably, I think, 87. Don't really get the acknowledgement that they deserve for what they were doing with technology and music at that time. But obviously they're very much on Howlett's radar. And yeah, to work with them on that added, there's bits in that sounds like classic Populate Yourself records. And absolutely. And obviously, I know that Populate Yourself are still going, but Clint Mansell has left the band and has become one of the most revered,
he's a legend.
Like film score.
Oh my god! Yeah, his film scores are fucking terrific, and their law it snuck out. Like I think, like we often do with these top fives, is your favourite. It's quite transient and things come in and out. But for years, their law was probably my favourite off that record, and it was so distinct because it's such a switch from experience, isn't it? What they were doing over there, and
that's the bridge. That track.
It kind of it's definitely like. It's weird because there's levels to it, but I think that was like how they were like, yeah, we want to add things and we don't want to be the rave scene. We're bored of it, and we don't want to really be. We want to make our own stamp, and their law is probably the clearest thing on that record of that in it, and it's fucking wicked. I think it was, I don't know, I don't know where I read this, but their law, guess what? And we've got literally no way. I don't think we've got any way of proving this. Their law was supposed to be they are law instead of their law as in a law that they own. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, right.
And they, they were encouraged to change it because it was too condescending or whatever.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like as I say, if we had the bullshit buzzer here or whatever, we might be banging that there. So fuck knows. I can't remember. Too many messy nights ago, I heard that explanation. So yeah. But it's a fucking great choice, Luke. Honestly, man. Yeah.
Number 4, Chris Glasson.
So this is memory time. This is as like when I went to senior school and we started going to like the school raves and that. I weren't really interested in fucking chatting to birds or anything like that. I just wanted to dance and.
Were they interested in chatting to
No,
you?
I think probably it was that order.
Okay, just want to clarify that. You wasn't walking around with your erection poking through your flyers
not at that point.
Okay.
No. I don't think I'd got an erection at that age. I don't know if it had happened yet. I was like 18 or 19. Come on, when did you get your first erection?
Early 20s.
Yeah, exactly. So I can completely remember where I'm standing and going crazy to this next song, which is Out of Space. And it makes my like there's loads of great tracks off Experience and even stuff that didn't make Experience, like the really early stuff like on
Careful,
What Evil.
Because I've got.
Okay, all right, I won't say anymore. And but Out of Space, man, that rolling bass line fucking blows my mind, and it's such a good tune to dance to in clubs, and it's quite fun, and there's loads on Experience I could have given a shout out to, but that one was linked to really for me at school. That was when I realised that what I really liked doing was dancing on a dance floor, and Out of Space had it. And I had a wedding 2-3 years ago in Kefalonia, one of my best friends, and the second night we at this villa we had a swimming pool and a sound system, and it was food all day. And at the end of the night, all we were doing was just lobbing like cans of beer into the pool. And I remember us all like dancing, and this came back on, and it felt as good as it ever did.
Yeah,
it didn't feel like
nice,
it didn't feel any dated.
That was the track that got played in every club, not just dance clubs. That was the one where all of a sudden alternative clubs were playing Prodigy records because the dropout with the ragga style vocal is so infectious, isn't it? And it's and it's just got that upstroke skank to it, and you just think it was just amazing. And there was so many things in rave music then that was almost novelty based. You could even say Charlie for an example of that. There was the ones about trips to Trumpton, Sesame Street, and there was all of these kind of like novelty rave records. And you can throw Charlie in that bag. But
definitely.
I think Out of Space was a different being altogether. I think it's just, and it stands the test of time. It still sounds amazing.
There's a lot in that song, isn't there? There's a lot of layers, and it's just so beefy. So, Out of Space.
Perfect.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you very much for that one. You, mate?
I'm going to go Wind It Up.
Wind It Up, yeah.
From Experience, because I've just got a memory of dancing to it.
Isn't it weird?
Yeah, I've just got a memory of being in the gas club dancing to it and just experiencing one of the very few times in my life I've experienced pure joy.
Yeah.
And just not giving a fuck, and just thought I'm having the best time.
Yeah. Mate, it's exactly the same.
And it was Errol Hawken was DJing it before he was known.
Yeah.
And he was the warm up DJ at the gas club, and yeah, and I just remember I've got all the early XL singles, like all on like 7-inch white sleeves, no picture sleeve covers, and just that wicked white label with the XL logo on it. And Wind It Up, I just thought was and do you know, it's not as good as Outer Space, but it's just got a little memory attached to it for me that I just think Outer Space is one. And I'm not going to lie, at some point I just thought, I've been DJing alternative clubs for like 20 odd years. I got a bit bored of that one.
Yeah.
Like, because it was every night.
Of course.
You know, it was a get out of jail card. But yeah, Wind It Up, love it.
Have we got any others? Oh,
we've lost the light.
Sexy.
Lost the light.
Oopsie. What's going on here? Overheating, is it? Or got a tech issue here, folks? Luckily, we've got a professional here for once.
I'll try turning it off and on again.
There we go. Yeah, we seem to have probably gone a little bit darker if you're watching this and not listening to it, because one of the light seems to be playing. What's it look like through the camera, Luke? Does it look alright?
It's almost strobing. Is that because we're talking about Wind It Up and Outer Space?
Bit of rave, yeah.
Does it look alright? Just turn it off because it's going to end up power cutting the whole room.
Do you know that for a fact, or was that guesswork?
No, always.
Yeah.
There's a lot of power down here for a very little room.
It straight in.
So I'll say that quite a lot.
If I take out the extension lead,
Okay.
and then we'll just know if it's the extension cable or if it's the.
This is lots of dead air here, folks. We apologise while we get this back up and running. I mean, we could talk about Prodigy, but we'll talk about fucking strobe lights. That same rave was when I discovered a strobe light at like 14, and it blew my tiny little mind.
Really?
Yeah, I fucking loved it. And I honestly went on that dance floor, and it's just, when you were talking about Wind It Up, it's that pure joy thing. I was dancing for probably like 5 hours and happy as fucking Larry, man. A bit like 38 in my flat today. What's that, buddy? Is it?
I unplugged it. It's still strobing, but I think we'll get away with it. You know.
Yeah.
I think I'll just be.
Yeah. More in the shadows,
slightly
yeah.
mood lighting.
So yeah, great chat. Have we got any others from Experience coming? Has anyone got any others?
I haven't.
Yeah, Luke, you got any others from Experience?
I no. Well, only in my special
mentions?
honourable mentions. Yeah.
The only other thing I was going to say about Pure Joy is, weirdly, I used to play that record a lot of the time because I couldn't go to clubs and I'd be stuck at home on my computer. I played that while playing Tomb Raider, and I can't ever disassociate the pair of them now. That record from Tomb Raider, but I remember just them being
associated now with Sandra's makeup.
Sandra's makeup. Well, yeah, no, she didn't. She was done by that point. I think she'd gone out by the time I got to Experience.
She was gone by then.
Yeah, cool. Well, we're whizzing through these. Luke?
So my next one is, again, I think it was from Glastonbury 2009, Poison.
Oh,
so, yeah.
That's my one.
It's my one as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice one, Luke.
Yeah. Sorry.
Get
my coat. Sorry.
Look, we can get it out. Should we get it out now?
We can get rid of it because he's in the shadows. He can't see him anyway, so we're pretending he didn't say it.
So the Glastonbury, both for you, same.
It's not Glastonbury.
No,
it's just
okay.
B97 for
okay.
tonight.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So yeah, for me it was that Glastonbury one, and it's just like you said, that moment of pure joy. Like for me, being in that Glastonbury crowd at that time with the Prodigy, and it was like a moment of like, that's my shit right there, and this is my tribe of people. Do you know what I mean? And that energy that came off the stage, off that band, and
people
from those
throw it
people
straight back to the band, though, don't they?
Yeah,
when you see the Prodigy.
Yeah. And that's why that one is up there for me, because of that whole experience. I mean, the tune itself is amazing, isn't it? It's a belter, and it's got that kind of like gooey, twisted, kind of poisonous bass line in there, which is incredible.
It's ridiculous, man. At a time, it was so much slow. So we were talking about their law earlier. We were saying how that stamps Jilted, and I had to really think about this because we've talked about Poison a lot. And the reason why I ended up having to make this my number one is because, to me, it's at a point where they'd done Experience, and that was part of something they were part of. And Jilted was their own thing, wasn't it? And although their law was like, obviously their influence from seeing like the heaviest stuff coming out of the States, like Rage and all that, to me, yeah, they've used guitars there to make a stamp, but Poison isn't guitars, it's all sample electronic, and it's so much them, and it's so much slower than fucking everything else in it. And it stands the test of the time. Like most Prodigy tracks do. Not all. I don't ever listen to One Love when I'm listening to Jilted, weirdly. But Poison, even now, man, it's just fucking awesome. It really is. Wicked music video as well. Very, very cool. You right there, Stu? What you looking at?
There's a website.
You're looking for samples?
Yeah, that tells you all the samples. Who sampled? Is that it? And yeah, I think you can like go in and search. So search the Prodigy. 575. Smack my bitch up. Outer Space. Alright, this is great. Right. So, Outer Space contains Max Romeo's Chase the Devil, Critical Breakdown of Ultramagnetics, Hyperreal selected by the Shaman, Homicide by Shades of Rhythm, and Bomb Scare by Two Bad Mice.
Fucking, that's a tune in itself.
Yeah, so I don't know why. I just wanted to find that, and it was we're talking about Poison, aren't we?
Yeah.
So this. Go on, carry on.
Is there samples from Poison, like actual samples, or is it all just his like Liam's sort of like
ding ding? I'm sure that drum is. I might be wrong.
Because Liam playing in the video, Liam's playing the drums in the background. Well, not in the background, in the video.
Yeah, Heavy Hole Slinger, Bernard Purdy, so that'd be Freddie Purdy, so that would have been that drum
right.
lick there.
Cool. And then, what the
It's a New Day. It's a New Day. He's by Skull Snaps, and there's Jungle Debt by the Demon Boys.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just that video. I mean, like before that, when they had Experience, I mean, you had all that. They were all very homemade videos.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And they were all wicked. Don't get me wrong. But come Jilted, they started like I think XL was starting to put some money there, weren't they? And put Poison's music video is really cool. You got Liam playing the drums, fucking Keith really starting to show that he's quite different to Leroy in terms of dancing style and sort of aesthetic, and looking like a crazy fucker.
Well, yeah, that's where that sort of kind of like crazy, the crazy frontman personality started to really creep in, didn't it? Started to come through, and because he just kind of he's set aside somewhat from the group, isn't he? In that video, kind of, and then comes through and sort of interferes and gets up in people's faces quite a lot, and it's like the nutter in the corner down the dirty corridor kind of thing in that video. Yeah, incredible video though.
And I won't say that there was a couple of other videos from Jilted where he's really at the forefront, so I'm sure they're might be in other people's lists.
They might crop up, mightn't they? So yeah. So
what are you going for?
What's this? This is free, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with Firestarter. It's again, this is so I'd been to that party, as I said, and Outer Space had been on, and it weren't soon after that Jilted came out, and my mate had it on cassette, and we had Journey to Wales, and we shared an earphone of that, and we were it was just destroying our tiny minds and stuff like that. And I remember like getting into Poison, getting into No Good, and all these other tunes and that. But really, the first thing I bought, because it then came out like Firestarter, the video came out, and I don't know, it just fucking at that point, once I saw Firestarter, I think by that point it had cemented that they were my favourite band at that age. I think like it just fucking. I remember having a single, and the single's got like a bit like this it's War of All Is Captivate, where it's got that strange sort of like animal print over it, and then I think it's got a gran on the front holding a Molotov cocktail. Yeah. And it felt special having that CD. I don't know what it was, but it just felt. I don't know, it felt special.
Dangerous, right?
It did. Like I don't know, I can't describe it.
Obviously, I was about 40 when that came out, but for other people, like I guess that could have been their Beastie Boys, like when License Will dropped, and I think if you're 13, 14, 15, 16, and you see Firestarter, that's everything you fucking want in music. You can go mental to it. It's got beats from like another planet with this fucking incredible looking visual at the front that just looks dangerous, you know, confrontational, anarchic, all the things that young people want to just get lost in, right?
Yeah. And I think ages ago, probably a year ago, we did top 5 frontmen, and Keith made my top 5, and I think it was at that point that he, like we were just talking about Poison, and we'll talk about maybe some other videos later, that he really then had transformed. He'd really completely found that whole thing, hadn't it? Like that whole himself. And I don't know, it just blew me away. And the fucking, I don't know how he ever did it with that. Do you know how the start of Firestar goes? That noise. I don't know what he did with that sample and how the fuck Liam made that. But it is everything that, it's just gutsy, it's a bit aggressive. It's powerful. I don't know.
Prodigy managed to make things sound like they're produced perfectly, yet rough.
Yeah.
Like that's got to be a skill set because it sounds so rough and aggressive, yet it sounds incredible played live, and it sounds like so crisp and big and like bassy and bouncy. It's like,
he knows what he's doing, and it, like even what you're saying with Notorious, like it's the same. Like I was thinking, why do I love Prodigy so much? And I think it's I haven't read enough books to articulate it, right? But
here comes some guesswork.
I don't. It's just that whenever I've listened to their music, it makes me just want to fucking go mad, like have it. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I can't put that into
they
words.
Must be on most people's gym playlists.
Pip did me a cassette at uni, and it was top 5 Screw Your Face Up and Rock, and it wasn't dance music, it was all rock bands from that. But Prodigy have always done the same thing to me. It's like that release of like aggression. It is quite aggressive music, but it doesn't mean go and like smash anyone up. It just creates an energy in you, and that energy is you want to fucking dance.
Yeah.
And that's why I think that's really at the core of it.
Yeah,
that's
completely.
why I love the Prodigy. And
yeah.
that noise from Firestarter almost, to me, embodies that, epitomises it.
I completely agree, man, because that was my number one.
Yeah.
Because I think it absolutely, as you say, it encapsulates, for me, everything that's great about the Prodigy. Like you say, it's got aggression, it's confrontational, it's a little bit frightening for some people. It's great rebel music, and it does like, could have been a better name for it. Do you know what I mean? Because like it literally does start a fire in you.
Yeah.
You know, and
it started a different level of career for them as well.
Yeah, completely. But yeah, and that video is incredible. Like you're saying, like Keith, he owned that and
stamped himself on the fucking map with that.
Yeah, big time. And there's not really, I mean, what compares to that now? You know, really, there's not a lot. There's not a lot of stuff that comes out and stops you. Because I remember, you know, when that came on the TV, going, "What is that?"
Yeah.
And just it stops you dead in your tracks. I mean,
and what would have been cool about that is when you saw that, wouldn't have been on top of the pops. They didn't want to do that.
No.
They the thing is, they don't really do press. They just do their thing, and like I love it. Like they're a fucking gang, aren't they? And they're a gang that not many people know that much about. You know, they're a tight unit, and it just makes it even better. Like, amazing, absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I think it was the one that stamped it for me, that they were the best band, and like that whole record, Fat of the Land, and coming to V97, and obviously that being, I think, one of my most favourite points. We've done top 5 moments in your life. me and you both said, I think, V97. We both choose that as number 1. It was ridiculous, wasn't it? Yeah. We don't plan these. We don't have a chat because we don't like each other. Because we don't like each other. And we both said V97 and that Prodigy set. It's fucking fucked up. Yeah. But that was it. Like I'm sure we might talk about Fat Land later, but that to me, that was an exciting time, and just as I sort of like came of age to go out party and dance, and that's what I like doing. I like fucking dancing, man. So yeah, Stuart.
Diesel Power.
Oh, it's a good tune, man. It's really good.
Yeah. Is that my 2? Yeah.
Is it 2 or is that 3? No, it might be. No, it's 3. I believe that's your third.
Wind it up. Oh yeah. And 3 kilos. Yeah. And my number 1 was Poison. So I want to go Diesel Power. Yeah. Just because when that album dropped, I remember I've got it on vinyl and got it home, and just I'd heard Firestar and had I heard, what I want to say, just in case, or had I heard Breathe or Smack My Bitch Up? I don't think so. I think the album must have come out before. It would have been Firestar, then probably the album. I don't know that for sure. That's a bit of guesswork. But then just getting that home and putting it on, and all I remember just thinking is like, so much of that album just sounded like hip hop. It was just just this new style of hip hop that was just a hybrid of that and like really hard dance music. Like the beats were just thunderous, but the root of them was just that hip hop mentality that I think Liam Hallett has got. You know, I don't think I'm too far off the money saying that hip hop's obviously a massive thing for him.
For sure, man. Like, do you remember the Dirt Chamber session?
Yeah, completely.
The bollocks, man.
And when I heard Diesel Power, just when that beat dropped, and the thing is, for a beat to stand out on a Prodigy album, because every beat that the Prodigy do would stand out on anything else by any other artist, but that album is just stacked. But for me, Diesel Power's the one that when it drops, I just think it's a face scruncher. It's like fucking.
It's really cool. Max in reality properly having a rap on it as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, when me and Pip go This Is Progress, one of the people used to walk out to it, and it was really cool. And the great thing is how that starts with the yo, and it's like when you listen to it, you want to learn how to get that yo in to start with, and then start rapping it. And man, it's a fucking. It's a great tune.
While we're talking intros, but I know we've discussed Poison,
Yeah.
but just the album version, just mate, it's fucking tune, man.
Liam, there's someone on the phone for you. Fuck's sake, man! Trying to make this fucking tune. I fucking love it. And it's just
the fucking
shit,
boldness
man.
of what? No, leave it in there. Like,
it's
the
so
tune's so fucking good, people won't mind.
Oh, mate, it's so... Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
It really is. I love that when I'm in my car and that one comes on and it just has that intro and you're just like, I'm in for a treat. It's Poison. I'll never get bored of it. Man, it's so good.
Number 2.
Excuse me. So, number 2, Breathe. Breathe with me. Yeah, just love it. Just love it. It's another banger. Do you know what I mean? It's just... grab something and shake it. You know what I mean? It's a banger. I remember like the video, big standout thing.
It's crazy, man.
Crazy video, but wicked. And I'm sure because again I was very young, so I wasn't old enough to start getting tattoos and that. But that big artwork that Maxim's got in that definitely influenced this
number.
You know. I just love it. Just love the track. Love the kind of back and forth between Maxim and Keith on that as well. Works so beautifully.
And I think we should talk about what a live phenomenon they are. And the reason that I say that is at the weekend when I was talking about Prodigy Records, we was talking about it in the car today, Luke. I listened to the live album that came out maybe 4 years ago, something like that. And I played it, and me and my mate were sitting listening to it, and it was I put Breathe on. And you know that beat drop is going to come at the beginning. And just before it does, Max is like, wow!
Oh, so good.
And then it dropped, and I was like, I just thought, fucking hell. I'm like, I felt like I was 18 again in a field. And I just thought, this is just the fucking best. It was like, just because, as an MC, he knows just that little scream he's going to just, Dave Grohl knows how to do it. He's just that big fucking, he's just bringing the rock and roll and the MC kind of mentality to just this massive fucking drop that's just going to take the roof off, and they just do it perfectly. And it was just listening to Breathe the other day made me think like we've got obviously talk about what a fucking incredible live.
It really is, man. And I had I always think Prodigy, and it does always link me to cassettes and my Walkmans as well, because I was always playing Walkmans at the time, the little compact ones that just look slick as fuck. And a mate of mine gave me a recording of. And it was there. It was a couple of two of the live tracks on it was Poison and Funky Shit, and Maxim's fucking MCing over both of them. It was just hype. It was just like his MCing over Funky Shit was just so good. And I know what you mean, man. He's so good at that. As in terms of a live performance, he's fucking awesome. And then you got like Keith dancing like a fucking found his own form. From the rave scene to how he then went on to, and then Leroy as well. Like you said, like fuck me, man. Like Leroy in a lot of the videos just look cool as shit. This tall dude in Poison, and that I always just thought it was cool as fuck. And he's dancing, and there's YouTube videos of Leroy's dancing as well, and it is pretty spectacular. So seeing that whole life thing is pretty off the hizzle, man, definitely.
Right.
Where are we? 2. So my 2 is in joint is sort of a joint position, really. I'm gonna say it's Break and Enter on Jilted, but it goes with a special mention to No Good Start the Dance as well, because I struggle to decide between the pair of them, and it is back on Jilted, but fucking hell, Break and Enter. We were talking about intros to Poison and that, and then you've got the start of Jilted, which is so different to Experience, innit? It's like sinister electronica, and that's fucking dope because it was nothing like the others. Like you have the I've started to take my work back underground to stop it falling into the wrong hands. Is that, saying we're stepping away from the rave scene, and then just into Break and Enter. And as I said, Their Law used to be my number 1, and over the years, slowly, Break and Enter has come to be the one that's for me lasted longer. I just fucking love it, and when it drops, and you have that window break and the ow, and then it just drops. Oh, it's just a rush, man. Yeah. It's dangerous. Like I listen to Jilted still a lot. I'll probably give them all a spin once a year, but Jilted has stayed in my car or with me. And that is one of them ones where, I feel like my foot's speeding up on the pedal when I'm listening to Breaking In, and so I fucking love it, man. It's just a hectic, sinister, dark, brooding tune. And it just said, here's our new record, really, and oh mate, it's a long tune, that Breaking In. Fucking hell, it is a long record, isn't it, Jilted?
Yeah.
It's it is long. You get your money's worth out of it, but I fucking love it. Well, yeah, all that, even Always Outnumbered, Never Outgunned. That's not had a mention. That didn't do too well. I enjoyed it. I like Girls. I thought Girls was a fucking band.
Amazing.
Am I ruining anyone's? No,
we're all done.
Yeah, Girls is wicked.
My number 2, and I think that's it, isn't it? You've done your one.
Oh,
yeah.
Right, yeah.
But
I've got it. So all their records.
Girls is amazing. Like that sample of D-Train. It's fucking awesome. I'm going to go for my number 2. I want to go Smack My Bitch Up.
Yeah.
Just because of that. Just waiting for that. And as a DJ, it's so easy to mix as well, because you've just got that little fucking start and it's like brilliant. It just you can mix it with rock records, dance records. And it's like it's one of them ones I've probably heard too much, because if you DJ
that or the Pendulum version. Oh no, it's Voodoo People.
Pendulum, Voodoo People. Yeah. Also, shout out to some Prodigy remixes.
Yeah, go on.
The recent Prodigy remix of Iggy Pop's Lust for Life, Trainspotting 2.
Yeah,
amazing.
Nice. Yeah.
Liam's remix of 99 Problems.
I don't think I've heard that.
Oh man, that's big. Method Man, Release Yourself.
Nice.
Like Prodigy remix of that, it's fucking big. Trying to think what other obvious.
There's a couple on Invaders Must Die. They did. Was it the Day? No, Day's My Enemy, Nasty. And there's a drum and bass producer called Spore. I don't know if you guys ever heard of it. He done a tune called Aztec, which is weirdly another song I can't listen to in the car. Absolutely can't listen to it in the car. It's way too dangerous, because it's just the most hype track I've ever heard. And he did a version of Nasty, and he gave it that Spore treatment. And it's just an insane drum and bass remix, man. It really is fucking shit on. They've done Public Enemy. They did Shut Up, which is a Public Enemy remix, which is really good. Shut 'Em Down's my favourite Public Enemy tune. So yeah, I really like that.
That's my favourite Public Enemy.
Is he really? Yeah. Are we gonna fuck now or?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. That's a great